post on Twitter. Okay. Okay, what's wrong with my, is my connection good here? Okay, there we go.
You kidding?
Okay, here we go. We are live. Hey everyone, how you guys doing? I hope everyone's having a wonderful day and a wonderful start to the weekend. Okay, that was, okay. Hold on a second here. Okay. Invite the posse. Here we go. My day's going good, Slushy.
Unbelievable.
What software do I use to edit my videos? It depends on the type of project. If it's like a really complicated project to make, then I'll be using Adobe Premiere Elements. If it's something simple, I'll use Movie Maker. I don't know if we're gonna do another video about Claude, but actually, now that I think about it, I could do a video on Claude. But if we're gonna do a video on Claude, another one, we're gonna be doing a video, and it's gonna be called, you know, all the gangs that Claude pissed off in GTA 3. That's probably what we could call it. But my next lore video that I got coming up is going to be an LA Noire lore video. And I'm just waiting to finish LA Noire, and right after I finish LA Noire, it'll be less than a week, the lore video will be up. It's not gonna be a very, you know, difficult video to make, and it's actually examining one of the cases specifically, and talking about something, like a theory that I have. Who do you think has the worst support company other than Rockstar? Maybe YouTube. Like, YouTube years ago was, like, really, really bad with their support. They're still bad to an extent, but YouTube support has gotten a bit better. They communicate with me a lot more than they used to back in the day. Maybe YouTube, but recently I got assigned a YouTube, like, partner, and she has helped me out a lot. Like, you know, when I had issues with my channel, she's actually helped a lot. But before that, it was, is that whenever I would send, like, YouTube support an email, they were just not very helpful. And, like, for example, like, that video that I made 4 years ago, where it got striked, like, YouTube gave me a strike for that video, like, 4 years ago. And what happened is, I kept, you know, for 4 years, I emailed them. Like, every year I would email them, like, you know, at least once a year, and I would tell them, like, can you please review this video again? And they would tell me, we can't do anything about it, it's, you know, our team has reviewed it. But when I got assigned a YouTube partner, I basically was in a call with her, and I explained to her, you know, I explained to her the situation. I told her, you can watch my video, you can see there's nothing wrong with it, it's me playing, you know, Call of Duty. I don't know why I had gotten striked for this. And she said she'll look at the video and get back to me. Less than 24 hours, she reinstated the video and removed the strike. And so, I had that strike, I had it on my channel for 4 years. It was technically a warning, but it was still labeled as a strike, because you get a warning and then you get a strike, so your first offense, you get a warning. But, I could have taken, like, a YouTube class, and if you take a YouTube class, it's like a questionnaire, basically. It's like a bunch of questions, you answer them, the strike goes away. I could have done that, and I could have gotten rid of the warning, but the reason I never did that was because doing that would be admitting that I did something wrong when I didn't. And so I'm just happy that that's been resolved, and that's been taken care of, and don't have to deal with that stupid strike anymore. See here, in Sopranos, Adriana Lesser, well, Adriana is a bit of a scumbag, yes, but Chris is much worse than her, way worse, and she didn't deserve what she got in the end, though, Agent Reaper, she didn't deserve that. Thank you, Jinzo. What foods would I like to try? Thank you for being a member of my channel for 4 months, and also GTA plug. Thank you, man. What foods would I like to try? Really any kind of food. I typically also like spicy food, but I don't like it to be too spicy, though. Hey, Pro, would the... hang on. Oh, there's a reply button to Super Chats now. I didn't even realize that. Yeah, that's... Hey, Pro, would the combat EMP launcher be useful for import-export, like when they are racing, or will it still give car damage? Thank you, nicest person in the universe, for the Super Chat. Yes, EMP grenade launcher can actually help you. So if you have, like, a car that you have to steal and you don't want to damage it, you can use the EMP launcher. However, the EMP launcher will do, like, $1,000 of damage to the car, but, you know, compared to the amount of times you have to shoot the car to get the driver out, I think it'll save you money in that. So you just disable it and just throw the person out really quick, and it'll work. I would recommend to use a motorcycle. So when you're actually pursuing those vehicles, use a motorcycle. Because the motorcycle, you can fire the EMP launcher from it, and then you can just get into the car really quickly after that. Can bankrupted companies come back? Well, they have before. Like, General Motors is a company that went bankrupt before in the past. When's the next GTA stream? Sunday. LA Noire next part tomorrow. Also, I already recorded the next part of LA Noire, the Nicholson electroplating, and I finished it. I had gotten all the questions right except one. There was only one I made a mistake on, so all of them I got right except one. And I found all the clues too. But it was my first time playing through the case, because I never played the DLC case. And I was a bit confused at the end. Like, I was a bit confused, because I know the guy was, the guy had killed the guy that was in the apartment. Well, I don't want to spoil it too much. But I was a bit confused because there were so many people that were involved in that case, like so many, like the Japanese girl, and then there was like the scientist, and then there was the airplane company, and so I was a bit confused at the end on like you know, what was going on. Okay, let's see here. What is Fallout 4 good at? Well, Fallout 4 is the best Fallout game for combat. Like, it has the best combat in the Fallout series. Are you gonna show the clip that Kelso opens Mr. Betts' bedroom? Yes, I actually recorded that scene. It's actually in the video. I'll upload the video tomorrow. But yeah, I actually didn't know about that scene. And I don't think I even got that scene when I played the game back in, like, 2012, because I would have remembered a scene like that. But you guys told me in the comments there was, like, a scene I missed in Benson's apartment. And, like, I didn't check his, like, bedroom, and I checked it. It was just disturbing, disgusting. Have I rode in a Duramax diesel? I don't even know what kind of vehicle that is. What is my humor? I don't know. There's not that many things I do find funny. A lot of, you know, there's actually a lot of people who have come to my channel before, and they've actually complained that I don't laugh. Like, they say, like, oh, you don't laugh, and, you know, stuff like that. I'm not saying you say that, but there's, like, been a lot of, over the years, like, a lot of people that have said that to me. But my reaction to that is I will only laugh at something that I find funny. I will not, you know, I'm not like one of those people that puts on a personality and pretends to be, you know, be funny. I don't do that stuff. It's okay, Tar. It's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. Do you think the Enclave would do anything good if you reform it? The thing is, though, is that the Enclave would have the potential to do good because they have a lot of technology that can help people, but there's so many evil people in that organization that somebody would try to do something horrible in it constantly. Which one is worse, Micah or Dr. Fontaine? That's a good question. That's a good question. Dr. Fontaine is way more manipulative. You know what? I'm gonna put that in a poll, Mr. Jesus, if you're okay with that. Thank you for the super chat. That's actually a good question to ask. Let me put this here. I'll put this in a poll. I'll ask people who they think is a worser character. Who do you guys think is more evil, Dr. Fontaine or Micah? What does the chat think? They're both horrible people. They're actually played by the same actor, that's the funny thing. The Micah actor plays both of them. Let me make a poll on it. Okay, we'll come back to this poll in a couple of minutes, and we'll see basically what people say. I put the poll up now, guys, so it's live on my channel now if any people want to vote in it. Right now it's tied. Why is it that as soon as I'm due to leave my shift at 9, it becomes a madhouse to the point where we close the lobby early and play music while we make food? Feeling understaffed and is a curse. Yeah, and Blinded Eagle, I don't know if your job has the same policy as mine, but my job had a really stupid policy. Really, really, really stupid policy. And the really dumb policy was that you could not leave, you could not go home until the line was empty. So you couldn't go home until the line was empty. So literally, if there was like an infinite amount of customers, technically you would be there all day. You would never be able to get off your shift, technically, if there's an infinite. So there was one customer after the other. And I remember that one time it was, it's like years and years and years ago, so for like 7 to 8 years ago, when I was working in retail, what happened was, it was the day before a holiday. I think it was either, I don't remember what day it was. It was either the day before Valentine's Day or the day before Easter. Because I remember it was like spring. It was like spring, winter time. It was like right when it started getting warmer. So I don't remember which holiday it was. If it was the day before Valentine's Day or the day before Easter. But basically, what happened was I was supposed to leave at 2 p.m. And there were so many people that were just coming in and just buying like gifts and gift cards and stuff like that for people. And I kept ringing them up, and there was other people that were like helping me on the registers too, but we had like an insane line, and I stayed there from 2 p.m. until like 6 p.m. So like I stood there for like an extra 4 hours after my shift because there's like an infinite amount of customers, and then right after that there was like a small pause in customers for just like maybe like 30 seconds, and I quickly clocked out. It's like I'm going. And I remember my supervisor was giving me, like, an attitude, and she was just getting all pissed off at me. She's like, fine, go home, don't help us. Like, you know, staying, stuff like that. It's like, I've been here since 7 a.m. And now it's, like, 6 p.m. I was supposed to leave at 2. And it's like, I stayed for an extra 4 hours ringing. It's like, I want to go home. I want to get something to eat. I want to take a shower. It's like, my God. And it's like the supervisor's just like talking to me like that. Like, fine, you know, don't help us. Go home. It's like, yeah, I helped you. I stayed for an extra 4 hours to help you. So a lot of these companies are just like, you know, really like scummy. And they will just hold their workers after. It's like hire more people. It's like you don't have to be so understaffed. But the thing about these companies is these companies are so cheap, they don't want to hire more people. In these companies, the way they look at it is they're like, you know, we can have one guy do the job of 3 people. That's the way the companies look at it. Instead of, you know, hiring more people, you can make the job place more productive, easier to run. Instead, no, they do crap like that. Man. And the thing is, though, is I'll tell you guys something else. When that supervisor said that to me, that was the point in my life when I had like really low self-esteem. Like this is like, you know, before like, you know, my YouTube channel became popular and I had really low self-esteem. I didn't know how to talk to people, and whenever, you know, people would ask me to do something, I would do it. Like even if I was doing people like work for other people, I would always do it. I would never argue with anybody, and people would take advantage of me. And so like when that supervisor said that to me, I just left. You know, I just went home. I didn't like argue with her or anything. But you know, if I was in that same exact situation now, like I would have said something to her. Like that was because that was ridiculous. You know, being there from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. and I'm hungry. I want to go home. You know, I want to take a shower, get something to eat. I don't want to, you know, be there 4 hours extra for my shift. Sure, I'm getting paid, but I want to leave when my shift ends. Hey, Professional, keep up the good work. What is your favorite enemy faction in the GTA series? And your favorite faction in the Fallout series? My favorite enemy faction in the GTA series? Ooh, it's a tough one. I would say probably my favorite enemy faction is probably the Forelli family. Yeah, probably the Forellis, I would say. And my favorite faction in Fallout, I would say my favorite faction in, I don't think I really have a favorite Fallout faction. I would say it's more like a favorite faction each game. My favorite faction in Fallout 3, I would say would probably be the Brotherhood of Steel. Because the Brotherhood of Steel weren't scumbags in Fallout 3, they were actually good people. My favorite faction in Fallout 4, I would say, probably have to be the Minutemen because they're not, you know, selfish like the other ones. But I also like the Raiders in Fallout 4. I do like the Raider gangs in that game, like from Nuka World DLC. I actually like them a lot. My favorite faction in Fallout New Vegas, it would have to be I would say Mr. House. Fallout New Vegas, my favorite faction. Favorite faction in Fallout 76. I would say either the Raiders or the or there was like that pre-war militia that was in Fallout 76. And then they were, like, survivalists afterwards. I know you can buy, like, stuff in their atomic shop. I forget their name, but... yeah, technically nobody called off, but we just, yes, Free States, that's them. Yes, technically nobody called off, but we just got hit. Ooh, yeah. Thank you, Lieutenant Touchdown. Oh, and thank you, Mr. Nowhere. I'm sorry I didn't see your super chat earlier. Finished watching your Watch Dogs playthrough. It looked fun and interesting, and I really liked the story. Bought the game myself. Lucky Quinn is one evil bastard. Yes, he is. And the thing about that is that in a lot of video games, you would be seen as like a really bad guy for what you did, like torturing an old man like that. But it's the fact that Lucky Quinn is just so evil that, like, you don't care about the messed up things that you're doing to him because he's just done so many horrible things to people. It's made you hate that character so much. I also finished the Fallout TV show. I don't know if I told you that, Mr. Nowhere. Now, where was I? No, not this one. And I will tell you something, is Do you know what developer deserves praise right now? You know which one? You know what developer deserves praise that we don't actually mention? Oh, I did tell you. Okay, I'm sorry, Mr. Nowhere did. But do you know what the developer deserves praise right now? The developer that deserves praise is Bethesda. And hear me out when I say this. People will be like, what? Why Bethesda deserves praise? Because, think about it. Fans had developed an entire expansion pack. You could argue an entire game. Fallout London. Bethesda did not go after them for that. They didn't shut it down. They could have. They didn't do anything scummy. They let the fans, create that. And Fallout London turned out to be, a massive success. People loved it. Bethesda didn't shut that down. Now look at Activision. The fans made a Modern Warfare 2 remastered mod. How did Activision react? Shut it down. They sent them a cease and desist. So that's what I'll say, is that at least with Bethesda encourages modding. It doesn't, pull crap like Activision did. I know Gilly's really pissed off about the Modern Warfare 2 remaster thing. I haven't I haven't watched his video, but I got it recommended to me. Hello Games? I don't know who Hello Games is. Who are they? Why can't we go to North Yankton or Guarma? Well, we're supposed to get a North Yankton event this year. It's not going to be like a DLC, it's more like an event. Why do you trust Mr. House? He is a corporate overlord. For two reasons. The first two reasons I trust Mr. House is that Mr. House is very honest and straightforward. Like, if you ask Mr. House about his intentions, he is very straightforward. He doesn't, try to BS his way through crap. He doesn't try to, make excuses. He's very direct on why he believes, what his, plans are. Where the NCR, for example, people seem to like the NCR a lot, but they don't realize how corrupt the NCR is. And the NCR, when you really think about it, the NCR is a giant scam. Like, if I was to, name, the top 10 scams in Fallout games, in the Fallout series, scams that's actually in the game itself, I would put the NCR on that list, definitely. The NCR is a giant scam. And why is the NCR a giant scam? Because the NCR claims to be democracy, right? But yet they take over, they give people a choice on who they can vote for, but they don't give people the choice on whether they want to be part of the NCR or not. The NCR will invade territories, and they will subdue the people in those territories, and they will take it over. So they'll claim, oh, you get free elections, but they don't let the people decide whether they want to be part of the NCR or not. Do you think the NCR is going to let the people of Vegas decide whether they want to be part of the NCR or not? No, they're going to annex it. And the reason I say it's a scam is because the NCR taxes people to hell. They're really high taxes, destroy towns, destroy economies. But then guess what? Guess what else? Is their high taxes don't even provide any benefits. They don't even help people. Because people pay taxes, and yet their settlements are not protected. Their settlements are not helped. They're getting attacked by raiders, fiends, super mutants, legion raids. So, there's people constantly coming in and attacking them, and yet, here's the thing is, a town could be attacked by fiends constantly, and the NCR will do nothing to help them. But the second the town stops paying taxes, that's the moment the NCR is going to do something about that and take the town by force. So that's why I say the NCR is a giant scam, because it's a giant bureaucracy just constantly coming in, it's imperialist, it takes people over, doesn't ask people whether they want to be part of the NCR, and just taxes them to hell without even giving them any kind of benefits. So that's what I will say about the NCR, is I think that the NCR is a giant scam. And about Mr. House, is you can call Mr. House a corporate overlord or not, but here's the thing about Mr. House, is Mr. House is not going to tell you how to live your life. So he's not going to tell you how to live your life. Sure, he'll control Vegas, but he's not going to tell you how you can live your life, what you can do. As long as you don't disrupt, Mr. House's operations, as long as you don't attack him, he really doesn't care what you do with your personal life. And so that's it. You can even, badmouth Mr. House, and he's not going to do anything about that. So that's what I'll say, is that Mr. House, Mr. House in principle is, when you really think about it, Mr. House is more like an authoritarian libertarian. That's really what when you really think about it. He's an extreme individualist. He believes that people have, their choices, their lives, they can do whatever they want with their lives, but he's a bit authoritarian about it. So that's what I would honestly say about him. So honestly, I would trust and also, Mr. House had experience with building Vegas before the war. He knows how the city runs, and I trust him much more to, rebuild the city than, like, the NCR or the Legion. So that's ultimately what I'll say about that. And also, if it wasn't for Mr. House, Vegas would have been a giant crater too. When you think about it, like look at the Capitol Wasteland. Look at what Washington D.C. looks like. Like Washington D.C., you can't even go through a lot of the streets because they're completely blocked off because you have to take the subways. So I would say is Vegas, owes their survival to Mr. House too. And also, here's the thing: is if you actually kill Mr. House and you do a Caesar's Legion playthrough, so if you do a Legion playthrough and you kill Mr. House and Mr. House asks you, like, why have you done this? And you tell him that it's Caesar's will, Mr. House won't say that Caesar is a tyrant or anything like that. His last words before he dies is he says, no, slavery for the future, no. Like, that's what he says. So that's the type of person Mr. House is. He might be an authoritarian guy, but he values people's individualism. He would never support something like slavery. So that's ultimately, I think Mr. House gets a bad rep, and I don't think that he's nearly as bad as some of the other factions that are portrayed in the game. Thank you for bringing peace to YouTube. Your contributions help out a lot. Well, thank you, Claire. Bethesda deserves praise for modding support and support for Fallout 76. Plus, Techland deserves praise as well for modding support and Dying Light 2 mods console support soon. Yup, but they're gonna have some problems with Sony from that though. But at least the developer's trying. Because Sony, I know, is a bit annoying when it comes to mods on PlayStation. Look at Fallout 76. I'll tell you guys something. If Rockstar was working on Fallout 76, do you know what would have happened? It would have been abandoned in less than 2 years. So if Rockstar was working on Fallout 76, it would have been abandoned in 2 years. But Fallout 76 is just as old as Red Dead Online, but yet the developer did not give up on it. It had a rough start, but the developer didn't give up on Fallout 76. They didn't. They kept making it. They kept working on it. And now it's not a bad game. Why can't we go to North Yankton or Guarma? Thank you, Ryan, for the super chat. Yeah, it's there. Like I said, I wish they would do some kind of DLC with it, but they're not going to, unfortunately. And Reddit Online is dead, so it's over. Hey, Pro, what did you think of that early release bill California is planning on introducing? Also, what do you think of price control policies? Let's address and thank you, Mario, for being a member of my channel for 2 years. Thank you, man. About the early release bill, I will tell you something about that, I'm all for second chances. If somebody has, reformed their life and they've turned their life around, if they've done their time, then okay, I'm for second chances. However, though, this does not apply to certain crimes. If somebody has committed murder, if somebody has killed somebody else, they should never get out of prison. Never. So if somebody's murdered somebody, there's no reason they should ever get out of prison. They should either get the death penalty or be life in prison. There's no reason. Like, there is no argument that somebody can make to me that will make me accept why a murderer should be, let out of prison, ever. I don't care if they serve 30 years, 40 years, they should never be let out of prison. You killed somebody, you took away somebody's life, you have no right to, live out the rest of your life if you've, taken out somebody's life. And so, about this early release bill, what I will tell you about this is, eventually, what this is going to do is this is going to trigger something extremely dangerous. And the really dangerous thing that this could trigger is this could trigger vigilantism. That's exactly what this could do. Because, the thing is vigilantism always is massive in countries where the law is either too weak or too corrupt. So wherever the law is too weak or too corrupt, that is where you have a lot of vigilantes that will come by. And so I can totally see it happening, that, like, imagine if some scumbag, robbed your family member and killed them. Like, they robbed your family member, they just killed your family member for a few dollars. Like, they just went there, they robbed them on the streets, they stabbed them to death, they took their wallet for just a few bucks. Just killing somebody over just something so small like that. and they killed your family member, your best friend, and then like after like 20-something years, the parole board is all like, oh yeah, you know, he's reformed, he's changed for the better, we're gonna release him now. After your friend or family member died to brutal death. So I could totally see it that a family member or a friend can get really pissed off that like one of these killers is getting let out, and they could kill them the second they get out of prison. Like they'll just be waiting for them. Like the second they get out of prison, they'll kill them. So I could see that totally happening. That like some family member would get pissed off that their family's killer had like, you know, gotten out, and they'll just kill them when they get out of prison. So that could happen. I could totally see that happening. And I'm not saying that it's a good thing, but I could totally see it happening where, like, you know, somebody's gonna take revenge, and when that happens, that will be the government's fault. Something like that happens because the government decided to release a murderer early. They decided to do something like that, so they didn't consult the family, they didn't talk to the family or anything like that, and I could totally see somebody getting revenge on the person getting out of prison. So that's ultimately what I'll say about it. Is it's gonna cause like it's gonna cause a ton of vigilante justice. And that's gonna be worse, and then we're gonna have anarchy. So I don't know, like, why is it so hard to, you know, to put some people in prison for the rest of their life? If some people have done horrible things, just put them in prison for the rest of their lives. Like, why is it so hard to do that? Like, why does these governments constantly release these really dangerous people? I don't understand that. What are your thoughts on plea deals? I think that plea deals, for the most part, are a good thing because it saves the taxpayer money instead of having to go through these long trials. And the person can just, you know, plead guilty, and they can, you know, they can get a lesser sentence for themselves and go to prison, and it's a way to speed up the process. Because if we had no plea deals, if every case went to trial, our court system would be overloaded with cases. Like, there would just be so much. So I think that plea deals are generally a good thing, but it depends on the type of plea deal. It depends on what exactly. What they're being offered, because if they're like a major part of the crime and they're being offered, like, you know, a very short sentence, that's BS. Let me see here. I watched the anime Overlord. It's good that there's this princess named Renner. She's a psychopath. Traits: she hides her real face behind a smile. She's a demon. I've actually heard of that anime show. That's where the guy, like, appears as, like, he comes back as, like, an evil character in a video game. But I never watched it, though. You know, I actually started watching an anime recently. It's a historical anime. Because typically when I watch animes, though, and thank you, Phoenix, for the supporting my channel for a year. When I watch animes, though, I typically like anime that's, like, historical, like something history-wise. Like, I don't really like the magic and the robots and stuff like that. Like, I like to watch something either modern or historical. It's typically what I like to watch. And so I found that I was looking up, like, I just Googled, like, historical animes. And I found this one anime that takes place in, like, you know, Iceland, like, 1,000 years ago. It's called Vinland Saga. And I started watching it. I watched, like, you know, 10 episodes of that. And that show was actually pretty good. I was actually pretty impressed with it. So I like that one a lot. And I was pretty impressed with the amount of countries that they had in that show. Like, they had Denmark. They had, like, medieval Denmark, medieval France. Like, you know, Viking Iceland. You know, Viking Norway. You know, England. So there was, like, a bunch of countries they had in that show. So I like that. Let's see here. Did I miss anybody else's super chats? Would I agree that bringing Johnny into GTA 5 just to die is the equivalent to bringing back CJ in GTA 6 just so he poops his pants? Well, thank you for the super chat, Feline King. CJ is not going to appear in GTA 6 because he's in a different universe, but I understand what you're saying. It's stupid. Like, you took one of your protagonists and you killed him off in such a stupid way. Because, honestly, it makes it feel like playing the Lost and Damned is a waste of time after Johnny's demise in GTA 5. So that's all I'll say about that. And the other part of your question is, Mario, is you asked me my thoughts on price controls. Generally, I'm a, generally, I'm a pretty free market guy when it comes to stuff like that. Like, I don't like the government getting involved in the economy. I think that it should be up to competition to decide, like, the prices on items. But I will tell you, is, there is only one form of price control that I would support. And the only form of price control that I would support is medication prices. Like, because, like, there are certain medications that are, like, in Europe, and the exact same medication when it's like in America, some of these pharmaceutical companies charge like 10 times more. So honestly, if I was president, I would make a law that if you're gonna charge like the medication in like Europe, you know, you have to charge the exact same price in America. So that's basically what I think that's probably the only price controls that I can think of that I would probably justify as like medication price controls, because like some of these companies are honestly scamming Americans. Like, and the reason that these companies sell for a lot less in Europe is because in Europe there's laws on the books that basically say they can only charge this amount for a specific medication, and so in America there really isn't, and so they will charge like, you know, 10 times more. It's ridiculous. It's not even like 2 or 3 times more. It's like 10 times more for some of these medications. So I would say that the only thing I don't think I would, you know, do price controls on like gasoline or food or stuff like that, but I would on medication. That's the thing, because I think that's been a scam that's been running around for a long time, and I think the government should do something about that. But when you do price controls on like food and stuff like that, it's starting to turn the country into a very controlled economy, and you don't want the government to be too involved in the economy, because it's more of it's competition that's going to drive the market, and if stores are going to offer better prices, people will go to them. Let me see here. Have I ever banned a user other than bots or rude commenters? Well, I don't ban people for being rude to me. So, like, I'm a big free speech guy. You know, people come into my chat and they insult me, like, I'm not gonna, like, you know, ban them, you know, kick them out for stuff like that. The only times that I will kick people out of chat is, you know, for 3 reasons. The first reason is if it's a bot. The second reason is if they're saying something like racist, if they're saying something offensive, if they're harassing somebody, where it's not like to the point of just like insulting, but it's like to the point where it's just saying extremely offensive things to people, I'll kick them out of chat. And the third thing is if they're trying to pull a scam. If they're trying to pull a scam, then I'm going to kick them out of chat immediately, because they're trying to steal money from people. No, I've never rode a horse. Good evening, Pro. Hey, Tristan, how are you, man? Thank you for the super chat. I don't want to sound rushy, but any chance you could begin to write out the story section of the script for the GTA 3 video? I want to try and get it for the 4th anniversary, or early November, and I trust you 100%, so be as creative as you want. Yeah, Blinded Eagle, I could talk to you about that. Thank you for the super chat, and I'll definitely help you out with your project. Is it okay if we start, like, the first week of September, if I help you out with that project? Because there's just so many, I just have so many playthroughs and so many projects that I'm just working on at the moment. But, like, you know, once August passes, like September, I will have much more free time, and we can, you know, sit down in the party, and I can, you know, help you make this video, and I can tell you, you know, my opinion, like, you know, what can make the video better. Thank you for the super chat. Why do people almost never vote for independent parties? The reason that people almost never vote for independent parties is because they don't think the parties can win. And when you really think about it, they can't. And it's because everybody has that mindset. Everybody has that mindset that only the 2 main parties are going to win.
I'll make sure of it.
I will tell you, though, there was a libertarian project. Because, like, do you know what state has, like, some of the most libertarians in the country? It's actually New Hampshire. New Hampshire has the most amount of, like, libertarians in a lot, or at least I say percentage-wise, in, like, a lot of states. And basically, the reason for that is because, like, years ago, there was, like, this libertarian project where this libertarian organization had, like, organized, like, thousands of people to move to New Hampshire. and like basically just vote third party, vote for libertarian, to try to break like the Democratic and the Republican like hold over like New Hampshire. And I remember that the governor got really mad about that. The governor even said about that she was pissed about all the libertarians that were coming to the state. But basically that was like one of the closest things I can remember where like a ton of people were like moving to like one state and they were all just gonna vote third party to try to flip the state to become a libertarian. Let's see here. What do you think about Fallout London? It looks cool. I haven't played it yet, but it looks cool. You can join the posse? Okay, hold on a second. What can you tell us about Prussia, Pro? You're talking about the most powerful German state, before it became, you know, before Prussia unified a lot of the other states and became the German Empire. Prussia was a horrible place to live. Like, the thing is, though, is that people have this misconception about Prussia, is people look at Prussia and they see how elite their army was, because Prussia had, like, one of the most elite armies in, like, Europe back in the day, and so people look at an army, like, the Prussian army, and they think that because their army was, like, so elite, they think that it was a great place to live. The average soldier in like the Napoleonic time period, like a good soldier in that time period could reload a musket every 15 seconds. But the Prussians were taught to reload every 10 seconds, so they were like some of the fastest shooters and the best sharpshooters in Europe. Like their soldiers were some of the most elite. But just because a country has an elite army does not mean that it is necessarily a good place to live. But about Prussia is Prussia was a very aristocratic society. It was a society where you had all these nobles and aristocrats that ran it, and they basically treated the peasantry like crap. So it was all based on bloodline. If you did not come from a specific family, if you came from a family of peasants, you were never able to move up in the Prussian hierarchy. You were never able to attain a higher position. Like you could never get past a sergeant. Like sergeant was probably like the highest rank that you could get as like a peasant. You could never get higher than that. You could never become an officer because officers were only aristocrats were only allowed to be them. You could never become in government if you were a peasant either. You could only if you were an aristocrat. So, like, when you really think about it, Prussia is the complete opposite of Revolutionary France. It's everything that's, like, the opposite of Revolutionary France. Revolutionary France was about Revolutionary France was a meritocracy. It was about the individual. The individual can rise through society, rise from being a peasant all the way to the top. But Prussia was a very, strict hierarchical society where it was just the aristocrats basically controlled everything. It was a, horrible, system. And I didn't even talk about discrimination against, non-Prussians. If you were not a, German and you lived in Prussia, you were heavily discriminated. They basically treated you like crap. The only thing I will say is the Prussians were not as bad as the Russians. The Russians were much worse when they were occupying, countries, but the Prussians were still really bad. Like when it came to the main difference between like the Polish part of Prussia and the Russian part of and the Polish part of Russia. The main difference, because Russia occupied parts of Poland on both sides. The main difference between that is that in the Prussian side of occupied Poland, Poles were forced to change their names to German. So, like, a lot of Polish people had to, change their name to German. But even a lot of those Polish people that had to change their name to German, they could still generally speak Polish. So, like, the Prussian government didn't really recognize Polish as a language, but they could still generally speak Polish. Where in the Russian-occupied parts of Poland, not only did they have to change their names to Russians, they could not speak the Polish language. So that's the only thing I'll say about the Prussians, is at least the Prussians did not restrict other languages in their country, but the Russians did. But, Prussia was not this, friendly, nice place. The thing is, it's due to a lot of the propaganda that you see in movies, because people see, like, they're like, oh, the Prussian soldiers are so cool, and they think that because of that, that Prussia was, like, this really good place to live, but no, it wasn't. I would never want to live in, like, Napoleonic Prussia. Never in my life would I want to live there. Let me see here. And and the second part of your question is you were asking me about what countries that don't exist anymore should still exist today. That's a very easy answer. Tibet. Tibet is a country that doesn't exist anymore, but still very much should exist. It is a country that is being brutally occupied by China, and I don't think that I don't recognize it at all. I recognize it as Tibet. So, like, literally, is like, when I think of that region, I just think of it Chinese-occupied Tibet. That's what I think of it. I don't think of China, I just think of Chinese-occupied Tibet.
When I tell you these are valuable customers, you will look after every last jug. So,
Have I seen any good movies lately? I started watching a good movie recently. There was a movie I started watching. I didn't finish it. I was watching it on Pluto TV. It was called Death Wish with Charles Bronson. He's like an architect, and his like and basically the movie starts out with like his wife and his daughter are like in their apartment in like Manhattan, and like this neo-Nazi gang basically like comes into their apartment, robs them, and like rapes the mother and like kills her. And then the daughter is like in such shock because like she loses the ability to speak, like she can't speak anymore. And then Charles Bronson, like the character he played, Paul was his name, I think it was Paul. He basically like, you know, gets a gun, and he gets like really pissed off, and he starts like becoming like a vigilante, and he starts like going after these criminals, like these really bad guys. He starts like hunting them down and like killing them. So it's like a vigilante movie basically. And it's a movie from like the 1970s too. Like I was watching it, I actually really liked it. I didn't finish it. I only got like halfway through the movie, so I didn't finish the whole thing. But I did enjoy it. I gotta get around to watching the other half. But thank you, Tyler Boy, for the super chat. You heard of scammer rappers like Punchmade? I don't know who that is, but what do you mean by scammer rapper? Are you talking about like those people that try to sell like those CDs, like that are like constantly yeah. Is that who you're talking about, Lamar? Because that was like what Pathos was a parody of, basically. Yeah, and that's why I started watching Death Wish, because Death Wish reminded me a bit of Watch Dogs, so that's why I started watching it. No, there's Death Wish, the original, the 1970s movie. No country would ever want to give up territory, Gunner. What do you think about Activision sending a cease and desist letter to Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer remastered team one day before release? It's stupid. And honestly, I was actually predicting that was going to happen. I regret that I didn't make a video basically saying that. Like, I was thinking about making like a video saying that Activision is going to take this down, but then I thought that people were just going to call me negative. But it actually ended up happening. But that's, Activision is a very, you know, scummy company. And I was thinking that if they're not going to make money from it, they're going to want to kill it. That's what they're going to do. Like, I will tell you, I've had a bit of experience with this. Does anybody here in the chat play DMZ? Anybody play DMZ or played, like, Call of Duty DMZ? Like, DMZ is, like, the one mode that I really like on Call of Duty. Like, I really like DMZ. Like, DMZ is my all-time favorite mode, and the reason I like DMZ so much is because DMZ is, like, different every time. It's, like, a different experience every single time you play it. That's why I like DMZ so much. But about DMZ is that a lot of us, when I purchased Modern Warfare 3, I thought that DMZ was going to be in Modern Warfare 3. I really did. But it wasn't, and I felt like duped by it. I felt like I was lied. And then what ended up happening is they cut off support for DMZ. They didn't even take it out of beta mode. And not only that, they also made it so that DMZ progress does not count towards the Modern Warfare 3 Battle Pass. So they're essentially basically trying to kill the mode. They're trying to replace it with all the Battle Royale garbage. Yes, I'm gonna play Ace Attorney Investigations, and I gotta finish Spirit of Justice before it comes out. Let me see if I missed any comments. Why is Czechoslovakia not a country anymore? Because after Czechoslovakia got its independence from the Soviet Union in the 90s, right when the Cold War ended, Czechoslovakia had a referendum, and they basically broke up into two parts. I don't know, like, the whole story behind that, but basically, it's Czech Republic or Czechia, and then there's Slovakia. Thank you, Alien, for the super chat. What is my opinion on the copyright system? Thank you, Ryan. About the copyright system, I think that companies should be able to that if somebody makes a copyright claim against you, they should have to provide evidence and respond within 7 days. Because when you dispute a copyright claim, it takes 30 days to dispute it, which is really annoying. And so, like, people can abuse it, and, like, companies have been, like, abusing it for a long time. They've been doing it. There's, like a few seconds of a song in a video, a company will then claim the entire video. It's annoying. Crap. Okay, we'll respawn here. Wait, what's your question? Don't be a menace. I'm sorry I didn't read your it's a funny name, Don't Be a Menace, but what is your question? My mom told me that after the communist takeover, she was discriminated against in school by her peers because she came from a landowning family. Yep, that stuff like that definitely happened. And the thing is, though, is you will have, like, dumb people out there that will basically act like North Vietnam taking over South Vietnam with, like, some kind of liberation. Like, they will act like it, like, somehow North Vietnam liberated South Vietnam, when they don't realize the amount of South Vietnamese people that got sent to re-education camps, lost their properties, lost their businesses, lost their livelihoods, because the North Vietnamese government took everything from them. My family, I will tell you something. My family on my father's side, they were, it was like my great-great-grandfather, I think it was. Like, it was like during World War I. So it was like over 100 years, you know, more than 100 years, 100 years ago. But basically, on my father's side of the family, they had a business, and the business was where it will be in modern day Belarus. That's where it would be. And I don't remember what business it was. I have to ask my dad what business it was. I think it was a shoe repair shop. Like, I think that's what it was. Like, they would repair shoes, and they would also, like, make shoes for people. And back then, shoes were handmade. So it was like, that was like a really good business. You could make a lot of money. If you made shoes, you could make a lot of money. And so, my family, I know my father's side of the family, they weren't, like, really rich, but they were really well off, too. Like, they were, like, more, like, upper middle class. And, basically, when the communist revolution happened, and, like, it spread to Belarus, they lost everything. Everything. Like, everything was just gone. Like, everything, their business that they had worked for, it was gone. It was like the government had taken everything. There was nothing left. And that was, and that's basically, how my father's side of the family ended up in the rest of Poland. My father's family, they were Poles that lived in Belarus, but it was at that time, it was the Russian Empire that controlled a lot of territory, but basically that was happening, is my family had lost, you know, their whole business. Let me see here. My favorite weapon in DMZ, the AK-74. The Kastov, And there was cases in the 21st century where the authorities in Vietnam used force to evict people off their land. The police straight up shot a former communist official when he refused to leave. Oh my god. It's, I know about that war clips. I've heard about that the voice actors in some of the definitive edition cuts. The thing is though is that when it comes to definitive edition, the guy playing as Frank and Carlito didn't do a bad job. Like Frank and Carlito sound fine to me, but Brad, it's like when it comes to Brad, it's just there's something off about his voice actor, like in the new one. Like it's not terrible, but it's not like great either. Like Brad sounded so much better in the original. Like I like Brad's voice in the original. Like I like the way he sounded much more in the original. The lizard guy from Black Sad was so evil, murderer. Yep. And remember you saw my reaction on that, Mista, is I couldn't believe that. I couldn't believe he did that. That was like that just shocked me. But I will have that playthrough up for everybody in like a couple weeks too. But did you like that playthrough overall, Mista? Would you say that Genghis Khan is the most evil and dangerous man to ever live? Hearing what he did, he sounds like evil personified. The thing, Genghis Khan was definitely an evil man. But about Genghis Khan is he was also very strange in some of his policies. Like, Genghis Khan, for example, you won't believe this, but Genghis Khan actually signed a law where he banned torture. But he still tortured people. So he signed a law where he said that torture was, you know, he made torture illegal, but yet he still did it. There was one really disturbing story about Genghis Khan, and the one really disturbing story about him was there was like a there was this woman that basically that he entered a city. I don't remember where the city was, but his army entered a city, and this woman had like approached him, and she said to him that you know, if I have a really big treasure, I have like a really expensive pearl. If you let me go, I'll give you the pearl. And Genghis Khan asked her, "Where's the pearl?" And she said that she ate it, and that she's gonna poop the pearl out, and that he can have it afterwards. And what Genghis Khan did is he had her basically taken apart. Like, he killed her, he had her stomach cut open, and he found the pearl. So he literally killed her, had her stomach ripped open just to take that pearl. And the story gets even worse and more disgusting. Because what he did is he then took all the other women in that town and killed them and cut open their stomachs to look for pearls. But that was the only woman that had that swallowed a pearl. So that was that's the type of person that Genghis Khan was. Extremely brutal. Thank you, Alien, for the super chat. Have you ever heard of the TV show called The Shield? The protagonist, Vic Mackey's corrupt cop and leads a strike team based on the Rampart scandal and the real-life crash. No, I've never watched it. I could look into it. What time period does it take place in? Is it our time? Thank you, Mr. Nowhere. I remember someone got a false copyright strike for a random grocery store image in their YouTube video. What is your opinion? They got a false copyright strike for a random grocery store image in their YouTube video? Wait, where specifically, Ryan? What YouTuber was this, and who did the strike? That's ridiculous. Do you understand why Ferrari doesn't want people putting so many modifications on their vehicles and don't want anyone destroying them? Well, Marco, I will tell you this, that if somebody owns a car, they can really do whatever they want to it. So it's like, they really can't stop people from modifying cars that they own. Do you think Turkmenistan is as bad as North Korea? Yes. The only difference is it's easier to escape Turkmenistan. I saw a photo on social media of an old man who got his land taken by the authorities in Bin Tan district, Saigon, even though his forefathers served in the revolution, and he's now in the streets. Oh, man. That's horrible, Gunner. No, I haven't seen the Borderlands movie, no. King of the Castle in 23 minutes. Okay, we could do that. The Fallout mod, I don't know anything about that. I know that people really hated the Frontier, but I don't know anything about it. Why are the villains so stupid? They gloat about their plans to the hero, and when they have them at their mercy, they take their sweet time to finish them off, giving enough time to survive. It's just the way stories are written. If the hero dies, it's over. What are my thoughts on America's withdrawal from Afghanistan? Disaster. It's, the thing is, though, is that what a lot of people don't realize is they don't realize how significant the Afghanistan disaster will be. I don't even call it the Afghanistan withdrawal. I call it the Afghanistan disaster. But that is, there are gonna be, like, people 50, 60 years from now, 50, 60 years from now, kids are gonna be learning in school about the Afghanistan withdrawal. And they're gonna look at it and be like, wow, they really messed up. They were stupid. What were they thinking? So that's like, but who striked them, Ryan? But about the Afghanistan disaster, I will say is that was, like, so badly, you know, that was so badly planned out, like, the operations, everything. And the thing about this is, my question is, why did the U.S. military not bomb the Taliban when they were going through the mountains towards the cities? Like, before the Taliban took over the cities, like, when the Taliban were advancing through the countryside, like, towards the cities, that's when they were, like, a perfect target at that point. Why did the U.S. Air Force withdrew. Why did the U.S. Air Force not come in and destroy them before they came to the cities? But once the Taliban took the cities, there's nothing you can do, because the Taliban are right next to civilians, and if you bomb the Taliban, you're gonna kill a bunch of innocent civilians. So there's nothing you can do at that point. So that's, I don't know how, you know, what they were doing, what they were thinking. And also, when it comes to this situation, is I don't blame the soldiers. You know, I don't blame the, you know, American soldiers. You know, I've always said it, that I love American soldiers, but I hate the generals. That's the way I've always said it. And I blame the generals, and I blame the politicians. That's who I think is at fault, the generals and the politicians. I don't think the soldiers are to blame. I think it's the generals and the politicians that are to blame. So I don't know what they were thinking. And also, do you know, I'll tell you something about that. Do you know what pisses me off the most about the Afghanistan withdrawal? What makes me so mad about that? The number one thing that makes me angry about that, it's not even the fact that we had, that we left so many weapons there. That's my number two most, you know, pissed off thing ever, is that we left so many weapons there. But the number one thing that pisses me off about that is that all of those people that died, that we weren't able to save, because it was horrible that there were so many civilians that were trying to get out, and they were like, they didn't let them on the planes, and they were just hanging onto the side of the planes, and the planes were taking off, and it was just brutal. It was just horrible. And it's like, all those people that we let down, all those people that we couldn't save in the end, and it was, a lot of those people had better lives when the U.S. was in Kabul. Women had more rights. Women were able to go to school. Women were on TV. But, you know, now everything, with the Taliban taking over Afghanistan, everything is going backwards now. Now women aren't even able to go to high school. Women aren't able to appear on TV. Like, you know, women's rights have gone back, like, you know, 300 years when the Taliban have taken over Afghanistan. And I will say that, that all of the, like, and also, imagine if you were, like, an Afghan interpreter. If you were, like, an interpreter that, like, helped the U.S., if the Taliban find out about that, the Taliban aren't just gonna kill you, they're gonna kill your whole family. They're terrorists. They're, you know, killers. So, those interpreters, the people that have helped us, should have been able to come to the U.S. That's what I think. I think the interpreters should have been able to come to the U.S. They should have been able to, come to the U.S. They should have been able to seek asylum. That's definitely a refugee claim. They helped the U.S. and we let them down. That's those people. If those people are still alive, they will never forgive us. They won't. Is that they helped us out so much and we abandoned them when they needed help. When they were gonna get getting surrounded by the Taliban, we just abandoned them. We left them. They will never forgive us. And that is that's what I will say is pisses me off the most about the Afghanistan withdrawal, is the fact that we had left so many people behind that had helped us, so many interpreters that were good people and helped us out, and we abandoned them. You see here. What are your thoughts on the Disneyland lawsuit about someone died from a peanut and dairy allergy, which the family filed a lawsuit, but Disney said they couldn't because they have Disney Plus, and the TOS said, what? Wait, what? Sleep Punch Man? Isn't Disney Plus isn't Disney Plus like a TV streaming service? Wait, you have to explain this more to me, Sleep Punch Man. Can you thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the $20 super chat, but can you post another comment explaining what you mean? You don't have to super chat me again. I'll look for your comment. Can you just post another comment just explaining a little bit more to me? You have to give me a little bit more to explain what's happening here. Thank you, Mario, and... Do you know Khan's writers from Crime Boss is based off the real-life Mongols MC? They were adversaries to Hell's Angels. They went to war multiple times. But the Mongols MC aren't mostly Mongolian still, right? I think so. I know that I know that in Crime Boss that they're all Mongolian Americans. Wait, Sleep Punch Man, can you post another comment? Can you explain what you mean? Because I'm generally confused. Yeah, I know they have a copyright mode. I know that. That's Disney claimed that the forced arbitration clause in the terms of service for Disney Plus meant that they couldn't be sued for the death of a park-goer who dined at a 3D party food place and died of allergy. What? Wait. That makes no sense to me. Like, Disney Plus TOS they're using to... What? When the NVA pushed into South Vietnam, a lot of them were surprised by how South Vietnam was a lot different than what they were told up north. Yep. A lot of communist regimes do that. They hide the living standards for they hide the living standards to their people, the other countries. I did, Mario. Thank you for it. In the 1950s, in communist Laos, if you stole rice for your sick mother, you would be put on display in a bamboo cage in the middle of the village until you died. What? Oh my god, that's horrible. That's horrible. That's horrible. The YouTuber mentioned another YouTuber claimed to own the picture. What? Oh. Isn't it stupid that they renamed Saigon to Ho Chi Minh? Yep. A lot of, and here's the thing is, if you actually visit Ho Chi Minh, a lot of people there won't actually call it Ho Chi Minh. They'll call it Saigon. Oh, why did the horse not jump over that? Who's worse, Royal or Earl or Tenpenny? Tenpenny. Tenpenny caused a lot more chaos than what Roy did. Oh, and speaking of which, let's actually go back to our poll. Let's see what people voted. Who's worse, Micah or Dr. Fontaine? 73% of people said Micah's worse than Dr. Fontaine. The poll voted mostly for Micah, but most people in the comments are saying it was Fontaine's worse. Oh, come on. I'm having such trouble with my horse right now. Oh my god. How bad luck am I having right now? Watch Dogs Legion story was okay, but I will say the Aiden Pierce DLC was the best one. I don't have a, okay. Love your Ace Combat 7 videos. Got me into the series. Thank you, Mista. And I will play the older Ace Combat games one day. So Disney said if you had subscribed to Disney Plus, and if anything happens Disneyland, they can't be sued, which is pretty sad. What? That's a streaming service. About the arrest involving Matthew Perry, I heard about that, yes. Thank you, Blinded Eagle. But I will tell you something, is that there are certain things that there are certain things that companies cannot do. So, like, companies can say that you signed a contract, but there are certain things that companies cannot do. And, like, even if there's a contract in, like, the TOS, Terms of Service, for, like, you know, for Disney Plus, a court is gonna look at that and be like, is, like, somebody who's eating peanuts, like, going to, like, you know, care about the TOS of, like, a streaming service? The court's gonna look at stuff like that. So even if there's, like, something says something in the TOS, it doesn't mean that Disney is going to win the case because of that. My dad was born in Saigon. What has he said about the city? Could something like the Purge happen? Well, if the government is really incompetent, yeah. But the thing about that is that the closest thing that you will have to the Purge is the country of Haiti right now. Because Haiti is right now ruled by mafias. Like, there are different gangs and mafias that control Haiti. So, like, the gangsters rule the streets. It's just absolute chaos right now. So that's probably the closest thing that you can say to that. What would I change in Watch Dogs Legion story? Well, it's not the story necessarily, but the gameplay. I would make it so that there's way more things to hack, like subways, power stations, street, you know, pipes. Top 5 games of 2007. Call of Duty Modern Warfare. What else came out in 2007? Assassin's Creed 1. Hey Pro, I wanted to, oh, my Rise the Ronin videos are out of order. And what I'll say about Rise the Ronin, that fish, like, that fish part, I know what you're talking about. That was, like, so ridiculous. Like, it was like everybody was trying to kill me over that fish. Kane and Lynch, right? How could I forget Kane and Lynch? No, Liberty City Stories came out in 2005. Far Cry 2 came out in 2008. Halo 3, I think, was 2007. BioShock, right. BioShock was 2007 also. You're right. Disney sued a guy who tried to put a Spider-Man on his son's gravestone? What? Fallout 3 was 2008. But also tried to copyright the Mexican holiday Dias de los Muertos, Day of the Dead. Oh, man. It's... That's, some companies are just the worst. Oh, The Darkness did come out in 2007. I think you're right on that. Let's get these targets really quickly, because in 7 minutes we're gonna have King of the Hill. We can play that. Hopefully we don't have a situation like last time where we dealt with, like, the tryhards. Have you visited many countries? No. The only country I visited was Poland, besides the US. Just Cause 3, I think, was the best one. Just Cause 3 and Just Cause 2 were the best games. I'll visit Canada one day. Oh, I didn't see the trailer for that. What's wrong with it? I'll look into it. Is it available on Console Gunner? When I visit Japan and Switzerland, definitely. Yep. What do you think should be the consequences for people who abuse the copyright system? Loss of copyright privileges. No one be able to use it anymore.
That's the fashion.
Guys, it's deliver the targets. What's your question? Don't. What's your question? Don't. Is the United States the main reason why the Allies won World War One? It's a hypothetical situation, but chance if the U.S. did not get involved in World War One, the British and the French might have lost. Because in March of 1918, the amount of German troops outnumbered both the French and the British troops. Oh, Saints Row 1 anniversary is on the 29th. Okay. What's up, Professional? Hey, Jordan, what's up, man? 2 minutes to King of the Castle. Guys, can you deliver the target? We're gonna have King of the Castle. Let's play it in a little bit here. I tried to call the scammers from that toll scam, but nobody answered the phone. Can you watch JoJo Bizarre's Adventures and its saddest moments, and can you Google the Passion organization? I haven't gotten the chance to watch the show, but I will watch it one day. Like a lot of stuff that I still gotta watch, though, dude. I watched your greedy streamer video. Great video. Thanks, man. Can I Google Passion? What is in JoJo's? Okay, I can look that one up. It's an Italian mafia gang in the anime. I will get around to watching this show one day. No, Wasabi, I've been slacking. I haven't gotten the chance to study. Would I say that scammers are intelligent, or, would I say that scammers are intelligent or ignorant? I would say that scammers are greedy and intelligent. Because the thing about a lot of these scammers, what I'll tell you guys about them, is that a lot of these scammers are not stupid people. I'm not defending them. They're, they're horrible people, but I'm saying a lot of these scammers are not stupid people, that they're able to, like, set up these websites, create these scams. And you would think that with all the, all of those skills that they have, you would think that they would put that skills to doing something productive, towards something, like, honest. Like, they could make money in honest ways, but they're so greedy, they just don't care. They don't care about stealing from people. So it's like they want to get the most amount of money for the least amount of work, and they're just greedy. Do you think we'll ever get Manhunt 3? I doubt it. The world, for some reason, has gotten too soft, and there's always a clash of some kind. Thank you, Satchel. The thing about that is I actually asked people in a poll what they think the #1 reason Manhunt 3 won't come out, and people said political correctness was the #1 reason. Okay, let's go to King of the Castle here. What's the most ridiculous copyright claim against you? That's an easy one. My 11-hour video got copyrighted for 11 seconds once. On a 11-hour video that got copyrighted for 11 seconds. That was the Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order playthrough. Does the E1 chair come with everything for assembly? Yeah. It was, you know, everything was in the box. It was pretty easy to assemble, like, within 30 minutes. I, you know, basically assemble it, put it together. I just really hope there isn't any sweats this time, because last time I played, there were so many sweats in King of the Castle, it just wasn't fun. Okay, here we go. About to start. Oh. What? I just... Okay. Yes, the American-Australian War. Eventually I want to do a lore video on that, how ridiculous that was, yep. That fictional war in GTA. I don't think an open-world Assassin's Creed game would really work. The closest thing we have to that is Watch Dogs. What? Carcano. Look, I'm using the Springfield rifle, a gun almost no one ever uses. Damn. Okay, Carcano again. Oh, I can't go through the plants? Seriously? That would rip through it like it was nothing. Oh, great. He's up top. Damn. I blew myself up, okay. Any tips you can give on going back to school? The thing about going back to school is the one thing that I would always look forward to when I was a kid, when I was going back to school, is not the classes or the teachers, but just to be able to see my friends. Damn. Oh, you've got to be... Oh my god, he's using Slippery with the Carcano. That's so cheap. Okay. God. Oh my god, yeah. It's so cheap. I can't stand when people do that. I really can't. It's so annoying. Guys, let's take the new, castle here. I'm gonna start running a sniper rifle just so I can counter these people, because this is... Oh, damn. How are you? Okay. Oh, crap. Oh my god, again with this. He's gonna Carcano me. Okay. Richard, you just keep holding it. You just keep jumping on it. Don't let the Carcano sweat win. Ah, damn. Yeah, I figured that he was probably up on the second floor. That's probably what happened. Ah, great. Damn! Oh my god. 2 shots to the chest with a Springfield rifle. Using express rounds, he should have been dead. god, yeah. This guy's so cheap with Slippery. Like, the way this guy's playing. Oh, man. Richard, just jump on it when you're over there. Oh, crap. Damn! Die, okay. Crap, I'm dead. Ah, damn, I tried. I tried to get them off of it. Man. I really hope they don't overtake at the last second. It's gonna suck if they do. Did you win first, Richard? I hope you did. Okay, Richard, you won. Okay, good. Good, good. I didn't want the sweat to win here. "33 kills and 8 deaths. My god. Yeah. Well, didn't do terrible, at least. I don't want to. I don't get involved in politics, Andrew. The thing I'll say is I just don't want politics in video games. Okay. At least we beat them. They were so focused on kills that they didn't take the objective. Oh no, I am definitely not woke, 100% not. But I'm just saying is I don't like you know, I don't like you know, talking politics. That's just what I'll say about it. I just want to, you know, keep the stream away from politics and all that stuff. Okay. Here. No, I've never seen the film, The French Connection. What's it about? Let me get over to poker here. What kind of question is that, Palm? What's my opinion on IShowSpeed? I don't know much about him. But what I will say about him is I know the Russian media was raging about him. Do you know that the Russian media was actually talking about IShowSpeed because he was doing like he was playing some like computer game, and he was basically saying let's nuke Russia, and then like the Russian media was like complaining about that, saying like, oh, look at this America that wants to destroy Russia, and it was so stupid. It was like the whole thing was just dumb. If you don't believe me, just look up IShowSpeed Russian TV, and you'll see like the Russian media was just complaining about him. They were just getting so mad about him. Yep, he does appear on Russian TV. I was right, it's that guy. Russian media, it sounds political. Not really. It's just talking about how stupid the media was. Am I gonna make a playthrough of Black Ops 2? Yes, I will. Nope. What currency is that? No, and I know your name is No, but I'm gonna make a playthrough Black Ops 6. Thank you for the super chat.
Those clothes don't really suit you, okay?
uh, my upstairs neighbor is so loud and stone. Should I fight him? What? No. I'll play Medal of Honor Airborne one day. I'll do a playthrough of it. I plan to make a detective comment. Wish me luck. I hope you do good on it, Greens. Thank you for the super chat. It's shekels. Oh, okay. I just don't think I've seen the symbol for it before. Okay, let me do here. Public buy-in. I'm gonna see how we do in poker. Hopefully we do good. What are your thoughts on anti-debt people like Dave Ramsey, those who say credit cards and mortgages are bad? I don't think that credit cards are necessarily a bad thing because you build credit and you as long as you make all your payments on time, you're fine. And there's some cards with reward points on them. So I don't necessarily think credit cards are a bad thing. When it comes to mortgages, mortgages can be a good or a bad thing. It really depends on the rate that you have to pay. But if you have cash saved up, it's the best to put as much cash as possible towards a house, just so your mortgage payment is as little as possible.
Yes, indeed.
My current opinion on the state of GTA. It hasn't really had any good updates sometime. But also, nope, to answer your question, I'm going to do a playthrough of World at War, Black Ops 1, and then Black Ops 2, and I plan to do this before Black Ops 6 comes out. I did see the green super chat. Thank you, the greens for the super chat. Also, greens, you might want to check out this game called Black Sad Under the Skin. That's actually based on a detective comic book. It actually it might give you some good ideas, like some because like that noir setting in the 1950s. That's the type of style that like a lot of people like when they like detectives stuff. Two hearts? Okay. Maybe I could get a flush.
Care to have some fun?
Nah, can't.
You know where to find me if you change your mind.
Okay, I'll see you, Frankie. Take care, man.
You don't want to sleep alone now, do ya?
In the Valkyria Chronicles series, the two big superpowers, Atlantic Federation and East European Imperial Alliance, are somewhat similar to NCR and Legion. The Feds are not exactly the good guys. Oh, actually, if I get one more heart, I can actually get a flush here.
Latest shipments is long overdue. The investors
I'll look into that show also. I'll look into that show also, Gunner.
Saying Mr. Owens beat the living hell out of his poor wife.
not the first time.
No, I don't really gamble in real life.
So, yeah.
I've done it once, but not for a lot of money. Yes, New York can be extremely expensive. Very much so.
Ghost been stealing our milk, but I reckon it's one of them no good lowlifes. I see.
Ah, great.
Here Mr. Harden left town last
I have no good cards here.
How about that?
Oh, well.
I'm just gonna have to hope that they don't have a flush, or not a flush, a pair.
Oh, just trying to keep my head above water.
Oh, he had the 5. That's what he won with. Okay.
How's things with you?
Oh, straight and narrow. Can't complain.
I got copyright claimed for 11 seconds in an 11-hour video once, and they took the whole video. I missed a super chat? I did? Let me look.
Have one's admirers.
Drive Club was so ahead of its time. Best VR racer. I actually never played Drive Club. I know it was coming out like right when PlayStation was coming out. PlayStation 4. But I never played it though, Mista. I should look into it. And thank you, Nathan. I don't think that GTA Online's really had any good updates. I think it's gonna be, you know, slower as time progresses. The updates are just gonna get smaller and smaller.
Latest shipments is long overdue. The investors are starting to worry. Yes, indeed.
Isn't that also an anime though? Gunner, the Valkyria Chronicles. Isn't that an anime? Wait, what do I think of Ireland? I've never been to Ireland before. I'm sure it's a beautiful country. A lot of people actually think that I'm Irish. I'm not. My first name is Patrick, but I'm not even 1% Irish.
Taking its toll, that's for sure. Ne te laisse
The old
donc pas
McAllister left
abattre.
to die in the street. Nobody didn't know.
What's happening to this place?
Is it on the PlayStation Store, Gunner?
Yeah.
committing so many crimes.
Happened before, my dear.
You sent me a message on Twitter. Okay, Orion, I'll take a look at it after the stream.
Oh,
Yes, I played The Last of Us 1. My favorite Polish dish? Probably Płatki. I would probably say Płatki. Where did I rank the Cold War campaign among the rest? Well, Cold War is, you know, one of the better campaigns. I think Black Ops 1 was a better campaign than Cold War. But Cold War was definitely a better story than Modern Warfare 3. Damn, okay. Let me, I'm gonna try doing something here. Let me see if this works here.
From what I can tell.
I'm trying to get them to fold. I really hope they fold. Fold.
Oh, well.
Ah, great. Ah. Damn, couldn't I have at least one pair? Damn. Hey Pro, hope all is well. Still hitting the gym? Would you consider a HZD playthrough? Have an awesome rest of your day. Thank you, J98, for the super chat. I worked out yesterday. And before that, I haven't worked out in 3 weeks. I've been slacking for the last 3 weeks, but I finally worked out yesterday, and I'm gonna, you know, get back to a schedule working out. But what is HCD? You said do a playthrough of HCD? What's HCD?
That's too bad for you.
Okay, Mr. Nowhere, favorite movie coming out this year? I haven't seen a movie in a long time in a theater.
Ain't a girl just spoiled for choice with y'all?
Damn, not even one pair.
I fought with the cook again today.
That's how the screw terms.
Hope you're doing well, and congrats on 1.1 million subs. Thank you, Aternus. Thanks, man.
I would love to get to know you better. You got that right.
That's hardly decent, but I forgive you.
Have I heard of a game called Guns, Gore, and Cannoli? Yeah, a friend of mine sent a picture of it recently to me. It's like a mafia game, but I'm gonna fold here. These cards are terrible. But wait, the person asking me to play HZD, what game is that? Oh, Horizon Zero Dawn. Okay. I know the game. It's an open world game. I've never played it, though, but I know the game. It's made by the people who made Killzone, right? Okay, I want to get a good hand here. Oh, I've played Vice City Stories and Liberty City Stories. Check out my playlist. I played those before. Do you think apartheid is an evil system or a bad one? Evil system.
You know, there was horse.
It's a racist system. It oppresses the minority.
I'll say.
No, the whites were technically the minority, but they oppressed the majority. It was a terrible system in South Africa.
Luckily, I ain't interested in your conversation.
Okay, let me see 9 and 3 here. Are there any games that you dislike that everyone else likes? To think about that one. The cards are so bad, man.
Are you interested in some company?
A game that I don't like that a lot of people like, Fortnite, probably. Oh, I missed a super chat. Is LJT Lester a voice changer? Yes, he is. He is. When you do the casino heist, he actually mentions LJT in like a very suspicious way.
Hard to keep smiling some days. Preach, sister. Those new pills leave you feeling mighty queer. That ain't a lie. On the same beat as Ma last week. Always feels strange. That's true. I'm hoping to make enough money to learn.
Battle Royale isn't anything new, and it's just, maybe finally I get some good cards. Let's see. I'm not saying Fortnite is a terrible game. I just don't personally like it myself. I'm just not into the whole Battle Royale thing.
You said it.
By the way, is it true that Fortnite originally had like a different mode? I think it was called Save the World, and like the developer promised that they would develop it, that they would continue it, and they just abandoned it because the Battle Royale got popular. Is that true? That like they abandoned one of their modes because the Battle Royale got so popular?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it either, but it's from what I've heard, it's the story of two NYPD detectives going after this French heroin smuggler in New York City. What year is this movie from? Okay, I'm gonna take a risk here. My cards have been so terrible today. The survival mode was the original mode. They didn't abandon it, but it was the original game. And so what did they say? What did they say when they didn't continue to update the original mode? What did they say about that? What did the developer say? Did they justify it in any way? Okay, this will be my last hand here. I hope I get something good, because I've been getting nothing but terrible cards. Not been my day today. They said nothing. Ugh. Well. Oh, great. Okay, well, this is my last hand. They started focusing the Battle Royale. Ugh. I can't stand that they just abandoned like one of the modes that they promised the developers so they could focus on Battle Royale. Stupid. It's like Rockstar Reddit Online just abandoning it for GTA Online.
Sometimes I think a pack mule got more sense than a horny man.
Wait a second. This is finally it. This is finally it. This is finally my hand. I'm gonna win this hand. I'm gonna win this hand.
I had this old boy that worked at kerosene and tar. Gosh, some of these guys smell. I'll say.
Oh, come on. 2 pair kings and the jack. Oh my god. Oh, I'm done here. I thought I had this. I thought I had that. I had 9 and a 5. I had 2 pairs. I thought I had that. Yeah, DMZ was abandoned. The developers completely ignored it. They forgot about it. It's sad. I could look into playing those games. Hustler, yep. The Darkness is definitely a game I want to play. Okay, so I guess I'll probably be wrapping up the stream here, guys. I'll answer a few questions before I go, so if you want to ask me anything, I'll answer your questions before I go. What's this over here?
The raiders grabbed some boy over in the alley, taking his money or who knows what. You look like you could do something about it. Either you can or you can't. Ain't no time to mull it over. Oh, good. I couldn't just leave the fella like that after I saw it.
I don't got much money, okay? What are you doing? Just let me on my way.
You're already dead, you know that, boss? I promise you there's far more trouble than I'm worth. We'll send you where you came from.
What's going on here?
Holy shit! You showed them all right. Listen, could you give me a ride out of here? I don't come to the city too often. I work out in Caliga Hall, in the Gray's place. You know it? West of here. Let's go. You know them raiders come in packs.
Oh, 1971 when the movie came out. Okay. What's in the fridge for tonight? I had dinner before the stream. I don't know if I'm still gonna have anything today. Maybe I'll check the fridge. Would I rather revive Red Dead Online or bring back the original Saints Row? If it meant we got a if we got basically a real sequel to Saints Row 2, like a real sequel to Saints Row 2, then I'd want Saints Row, like the Saints Row series, the original one, revived. But if not, then I want Red Dead Online to be revived. What's your question?
These more
Have I felt bad for Georgie getting beaten up in The Sopranos? Georgie, isn't Georgie the bartender at the club? Your shoulders look like they broadened up a bit. Well, thank you, Rand.
weights were bad.
Wait, what's wrong, Ricky? Okay, Mario, I'll look into it too. Yeah, Tony took his anger out on Georgie. Like, a lot of times Georgie got beat up. He definitely didn't deserve it.
Not too far now. Yes, here we are, Caliga Hall. It's good to be back. Appreciate you doing all this. Here, for you.
Genghis Khan tortured a lot of his enemies. It was just complete brutality. I never played Black Ops 3. I heard bad things about it, though. Fallout 4, the dialogue isn't that great, but the combat is pretty good. Okay, well, I guess I'm, alternate history? Not really, because it's just talking about, like, what-if hypothetical situations. See you Sunday, Pro. Good night. Well, thank you, dude. We'll have a wig for the darkness? Probably not. Okay, so I'll see you guys then. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. You guys are awesome, and I hope that everybody here has a wonderful weekend. I'll see you guys. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful